She's got short, brownish hair.
So, jeans, a gray t-shirt, short brown hair.
She ran into the backyard. I tried to follow her. She jumped the fence and ran. She shot me in the neck.
A 15-year-old who is serving the rest of her life in prison for the shocking murder of her mother and attempting to kill her stepfather is hoping to get a new trial.
It is undisputed that Carly loved her mom. You never heard the testimony of one person in this case who said otherwise. It's undisputed that Carly had no history of violence prior to March 19th. Nothing you heard. There is no evidence that tells you otherwise. It's undisputed that Carly Gregg loved her stepdad. In fact, he was the only dad she really ever had.
Carly Gregg's case made headlines across the nation for the shooting death of her mother, Ashley Smiley, and shooting her stepdad, Heath Smiley, in March of this year.
Oh my God, she killed her mom. She what? She killed her mom. She killed her mom? Yeah, that's what I'm screaming about.
On September 20th, the Mississippi teen was sentenced to life with no parole. But now, weeks after her trial ended, Carly's defense attorney is requesting a new trial, as they claim new evidence and material has recently been discovered, which they say would produce a different result. According to the 9-page motion filed by Carly's defense attorney, Bridget Todd, witnesses necessary to establish Carly's defense were improperly excluded from testifying at trial. According to the motion, witnesses were also improperly restricted in the testimony they could provide in Carly's defense. In Carly's trial, the state presented several pieces of damning evidence. According to prosecutors, Carly, who was 14 at the time of the crime, shot her stepdad Heath and killed her mom Ashley after her mom was made aware of the secrets Carly kept hidden.
We're here because on March the 19th, 2024, Carly rode to school with her mother that day. Ashley was a school teacher at Northwest Rankin, taught geometry. Carly was in the 10th grade. You'll hear that morning she got in a little altercation with one of her friends, cussed him out. But what you'll hear, ladies and gentlemen, from the testimony of this friend is that he was so worried about Carly's use of smoking marijuana, and so worried about her being high, and so worried about her having these burner phones that her mom didn't know about, that he felt compelled to tell Miss Ashley Smiley that day. Ladies and gentlemen, after the incident with Carly that morning, you'll hear that he gets in touch with another friend, and he's like, hey, you got to keep her distracted so I can go tell Miss Smiley what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, this friend cared about Carly. He was like, I gotta intervene. I gotta tell her. I'm afraid of what's happening. You'll hear from him that he did, in fact, tell Miss Smiley. That after 4th block that day, he goes and he tells Miss Smiley, hey, Carly has got these vapes. She's got this phone. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear then that Carly Gregg rides in the car home with her mother from school to their house. They leave school sometime after 3:30. They get home a little before 4. You'll hear that when they get inside the house, it's only their 2 dogs, Ashley Smiley and Carly Gregg. Immediately, Carly goes and lets the dogs out. You'll hear testimony that Ashley then goes into Carly's room. You'll hear that while Ashley is in her room, that Carly's still outside. At some point, Ashley finds what law enforcement believe to be the 4 boxes that contain vape pens. Testimony will be that we believe she carried them from Carly's room to her bedroom, went back to search in Carly's room. The evidence will show that almost immediately upon Carly coming inside the house, that she walks straight to her parents' bedroom, that she goes straight to her mom's side of the bed and removes a .357 Magnum from under the mattress. We believe the testimony will be that then she concealed that .357 Magnum behind her back. As she walked through the kitchen, she peeks her head around. We believe the testimony will show that she peeks her head around the kitchen to make sure that her mom hasn't come out of her bedroom. We believe the evidence will then show that she walked with that .357 Magnum behind her back, walked in to her own bedroom, and then fired 3 shots into her mother, killing her.
When the state played the 911 call of Carly's stepfather, Heath, she wept uncontrollably while sitting at the defense table.
What's the location of your emergency? What daughter did you do me? Your daughter tried to shoot you? Yeah. Shooting at me. Where is she at? She ran away. How old is she? 14. 14? Okay, ma'am, stay on the phone with me. Ma'am, stay on the phone with me. Just calm down. What's your name? Smiley. Okay, calm down for me. Give me your name again. Heath Smiley. Heath Smiley? Yes, sir. All right, Miss Sarah, what's your phone number you calling me from? Did she hit you? Yeah, I got hit in the neck a little bit. Okay, so did graze your neck? Yes, sir. All right, and what's her name? Carly Gregg. Carly Gregg? Does she still have a gun on her? I took it from her. She ran. You took it from her and she ran? Yes, sir. She was screaming something at me I couldn't understand. I locked the door. She's outside. I don't know what's going on. Which way did she run off to? She ran into the backyard and went over a fence. Ran into the backyard and went over your fence? Yeah. What is she wearing? T-shirt, gray shirt and some jeans. Gray shirt and jeans? About how tall is she? 5'2". About 5'2"? What color hair? Brownish. Brownish, just short hair. 5'2" with back door, she opened fire on me. And was just screaming. Okay, just calm down for me. We got everybody headed for She what? She killed her mom. She killed her mom? Yeah, that's what I'm screaming about. Where's the mom? When I do that, she tried to kill me. Where's the mom at?
Chilling surveillance video was shown to the jury from the day of the murder. The video pointed toward the kitchen, showing Carly and her mother arriving home and letting their dogs inside the house. Minutes would go by and Carly is seen walking over to where her parents kept the guns in the home. She's seen making sure the coast is clear before shooting at her mother 3 times, all while appearing calm moments after killing her. After the shooting, Carly texted her stepfather from her mom's phone to see when he would be home, and then invited her friend over to show that friend her mom's dead body.
Tell us about what that next message is that you got from Ashley's phone. He
said, "You almost home, honey."
Does that sound like something Ashley would typically say to you?
Not typically, but it wouldn't have been totally out of the realm. I think she would have phrased it slightly different, but I don't know.
What time was that text message sent to you?
That says 4:14.
Do you recall telling law enforcement that you thought that Carly actually sent you that text instead of Ashley?
I was wondering about that one at the time. Yes.
And then what did you respond to that message?
Said, "No, I'll be here for a little bit yet, meaning at work."
And then you can't see it on this, but I think maybe Carly or whoever had her Ashley's phone sent you a thumbs up.
Sounds correct. Yes, it's not on there.
So let me ask you, what made you think that that was Carly that sent that message and not Ashley?
I don't know, just something with the phrasing of it maybe. I'm not sure.
Carly's stepdad, Heath Smiley, would take the stand, but as a witness for the state. He said when he arrived home that day, he was met with a gun in his face. In surveillance video from the day of the murder, screams can be heard coming from inside the home before Carly and her friend are seen running away. During trial, Carly's defense team admitted she killed her mother and shot her stepfather, but argued she was legally insane at the time of the crime and had been suffering from mental illness.
We believe the evidence will show that there were 3 victims on March 19th. Ashley Smiley, Heath Smiley, and Carly Smiley. And Carly Gregg. That they were all 3 victims. We believe the evidence will show that Carly had been suffering from a mental illness, that Carly was not aware on March 19th that she had a mental illness. We believe the evidence will show that Carly's parents, who lived with her, were not aware that Carly was suffering from a mental illness. We believe the evidence will show that Carly's close friends who saw her at school every day were not aware that Carly was suffering from a mental illness, because it's hard to look at a person and understand that they have a mental illness. It's hard to look at a person and know that they have a mental illness. That's why it's often referred to as the invisible disease. A person can exhibit symptoms of a mental illness without people necessarily knowing that they have one, or other people necessarily knowing that's what another person has. While the events on March 19th were tragic, the events on March 19th were not intentional. The evidence will show, and the testimony will show, that Carly Gregg loved her mother. That Carly Gregg and her mother had a loving, close relationship. Carly Gregg's mom loved her. In fact, her life revolved around Carly, as parents' lives often do revolve around their children. Carly very much wanted to please her mother. Carly was an exceptional student, made a 30 on the ACT when she was 13 years old. She was the apple of her mother and her stepfather's eye. And you will understand by the conclusion of this hearing why Carly's stepfather is still supporting her and standing behind her. Because he knows on March 19th, there were 3 victims.
During the teen's trial, psychiatrist Dr. Andrew Clark, who was hired by the defense, testified Carly had an unspecified schizophrenic disorder.
What, if any, diagnostic impressions did you come to based on the records you reviewed, your experience, your expertise, your evaluation of Carly, and the family members that you spoke to?
Yes, I think I have maybe four. So just to say, number one, her mood disorder, right? So I gave her the diagnosis of bipolar 2, and I saw her as having suffered from some significant depression, and then some hypomanic episodes, and then worsening a mood disorder that was worsened by the Lexapro medication from March 12th onward. I also gave her the diagnosis of, and it's a terrible name, other specified schizophrenia, spectrum, and related psychotic disorders, really referring to the auditory hallucinations. So I think that I understood the voices she was hearing when she was younger as being notable, but not necessarily psychosis. I mean, they were there, but didn't really seem to affect her. But I also understood that certainly in the week or weeks leading up to the incident, the voices were becoming more prominent, more urgent, more of a problem. And I think it's reasonable to conclude that the voices were likely not just saying to her, oh, you're better than that guy. I think that, at least in my experience and my understanding, is that when the voices become really urgent like that, they typically say something much more concerning than oh, you're better than that guy. I give weight to the records from Vital Core where Carly was reporting command auditory hallucinations shortly after she was arrested. So I think, and I give weight to SK's testimony this morning, and I give weight to Carly's journal entry from March 12th. So I'm not even sure that we've talked about. All to indicate that the voices, I think, were becoming a really significant problem for her, and likely really had crossed over into the domain of what I would call psychosis. I think that I don't know whether the Lexapro was making the voices worse. I think the voices were already getting worse by March 12th before she started Lexapro. I can say, I think with some confidence, I think Lexapro was making the mood disorder worse. I'm not sure that was responsible for the voices getting worse.
But according to the defense, the new evidence that came to light after trial added further weight to Dr. Clark's diagnosis. There are a lot of tough stories and horrific cases that we cover here at Law and Crime, and part of the reason we're able to keep bringing you these types of stories is because of our great sponsors. So I want to really quickly thank Upside for sponsoring us. If you're wondering what's Upside, well, it's a free app that gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas and groceries. And it's actual real cash back too. The money appears in your Upside app that you can transfer straight into your bank account. So here's what you do. You download the Upside app, then claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. I went to 7-Eleven, got some candy and some other snacks, used the app, and honestly, it's super easy. You can use the app at places like Shell, Exxon, fast food favorites like Taco Bell, and that's just to name a few. To find out how much you could earn, download Upside or click the link in the description and use our promo code LCNews to get 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Again, that's promo code LCNews for an extra 25 cents back on your first gallon of gas. Carly Gregg's defense attorney, Bridget Todd, said a reporter from WLBT contacted their team after Carly's biological father talked to the outlet for an interview. According to reports in that interview, Kevin Gregg told the reporter his daughter had suffered from auditory hallucinations as a child and was put into equestrian therapy as a result. But according to WLBT, Carly's father never said anything about that, and the TV station reached out to Carly's defense attorney asking why that was included in the appeal. The defense brought up another issue in their motion about a comment from Dr. Rebecca Kirk, who was a witness for the prosecution. When the state asked Dr. Kirk about her notes from meeting with Carly, they asked her about a particular book Carly wanted to read.
Was she kind of obsessed with being great at school?
Yeah, she liked school a lot. And she was glad that I could tell that she had been affirmed a lot in her life for being intelligent, and so she was proud of that, but she also just had a genuine love for learning.
I want to take you to your next visit with Carly, February the 21st of 2024, and talk about her appearance. Does it look like that's the same appearance and behaviors, thought process, no hallucinations, no delusions, things like that we talked about?
Correct. Nothing has changed.
Your treatment note, the very first line of that says she's reading The Castle and she likes it and will read Crime and Punishment. So you told us earlier that you were an accelerated English teacher.
Yeah.
What is the castle? Because I don't know.
I actually do not know that one very well. I just know that they're well known. She also mentioned that she wanted to read The Bell Jar, but I had wanted to read Crime and Punishment for a long time, and I've actually owned a copy for 21 years. So I was really glad that she wanted to read the classic. I knew that was a classic.
Can you tell us, what is Crime and Punishment? Kind of what's that story about?
Crime and Punishment.
Your Honor, may we approach?
I asked you if you would tell me a little bit about what Crime and Punishment is about.
Crime and Punishment is about a protagonist, which is the main character. It was written by a Russian author back in maybe 1866, I believe. And it is the entire book, very difficult book, about a psychopath who lives in Russia, and he is poor. He is a student. He is very intelligent, and he comes on hard times, impoverished, and he has this obsession with this obsessive thinking of basically planning to murder a woman with a hatchet. And the novel kind of really, that murderous act happens pretty early on in the novel, and then the remaining novel continues to kind of be about his processing of it, and he even published something in the paper about why people kill and things like that. Anyway, and then he eventually is sentenced because of his admittance of his crime. That kind of also was found out as well, but he was declared insane, and he served 8 years in a Russian labor camp. And when he was in the Russian labor camp, he was unrepentant, and he did not think that what he had done was wrong and that the woman deserved it. He did actually kill her sister too with a hatchet to her skull, but that was kind of by accident because she came home too early.
And Rebecca, in your notes, you'd actually underlined the fact that she was reading that book.
Well, that was just for grammar, because you're supposed to underline a title of a book if you can't italicize it.
Okay. Did you and Carly have any other discussions about reading any kind of literature, like kind of dark literature like that?
Not that I can recall, no. And to be clear, in this note, she had not yet read it. She was reading The Castle. And this was on 2/21, and she was going to read Crime and Punishment, and she did so later. I think she read it the week of spring break, and I saw her Monday after spring break. That was my last session with her, the Monday first back after spring break.
But Carly's defense attorney said that mention was irrelevant to the case and was introduced only to prejudice the jury. The defense in their motion also pointed to whether Carly was mature enough to understand the charges against her, make a decision about plea offers, and participate in her own defense. Gregg reportedly turned down a plea deal that included a 40-year prison sentence. In the defense's motion, Bridget Todd pointed to the fact a person on a jury in Mississippi must be at least 21 years old to serve, meaning Carly was much younger than her peers who decided on her fate. She wrote, Mississippi believes that only a person 21 or older possesses the maturity necessary to make decisions about the life of another. However, Mississippi also holds that a 14, 15-year-old possesses the maturity necessary to make decisions about plea offers, understand the nature of the alleged offenses, comprehend the nature of the charges against them, effectively participate in their defense at trial, and face the same lifelong sentences of an adult. However, these two fundamentally opposing legal standards cannot be rectified. This contradiction of law constitutes a new trial, or in the alternative, a judgment notwithstanding the verdict. In addition to those reasons, the defense also cited Carly's lack of a prior criminal record and her relationship with her mom and stepfather didn't support the verdict or sentence in the case.
How much did Ashley love Carly?
They loved each other so much. Everything she did, she planned out for Carly and around Carly.
tell us about yours and Carly's relationship before March 19, 2024.
We were always good. We laughed and played and messed around, loved video games, and took her to karate stuff until she kind of got tired of that, and she started going to guitar practice weekly, so I was taking her to that every week. We got along great.
You liked being a stepdad?
Yes.
Sometimes with children comes discipline, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you say, or how would you describe the type of parent that Ashley was to Carly?
She was, like I said, always thinking about Carly and just Carly's first no matter what. She would do anything in the world for her and would try to get the best for her every day.
Were there times that you and Ashley would have to punish Carly?
Of course.
Give us some examples of that, Heath.
She had troubles growing up with back and forth with the stepdad and everything, so she would always wanting to try to make friends at the house and around home. And Ashley was always trying to, keep an eye on her, make sure she was okay and knew where she was. And Ashley had to fuss at her a time or two about, I know you can't go here, you can't go there, it's too late, that kind of thing. But she never really, day to day, got in trouble, really.
I want to ask you, was there a time that a boy named Thad came over to y'all's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen what you recall about that day?
We were all sitting at the house and there was a knock at the door, and Ashley checked the doorbell camera and we didn't know who it was. Carly had talked to us about Dad and we knew who he was, we just didn't have a face to the name. And Carly saw who it was and didn't want to see him, so I went to the door and just said, I'm sorry, I told him he must have the wrong house, and came back in and shut the door.
Where were Ashley and Carly when you were at the front door with Thad?
They went around, I guess, into the hallway or maybe one of the bedrooms, I'm not sure.
At any point, did it appear that Ashley was physically holding Carly back from going to the front door?
No.
At any time after you told Thad that Carly didn't live there, did Carly act like she was upset with you?
No.
Did she act like she was upset with Ashley?
No.
Do you think that she would have been mad enough to have said, like, she almost murdered y'all because you wouldn't let Thad come in the house?
That's not the feeling I got from it at all.
The defense claimed Heath Smiley's testimony that Carly wasn't in her right mind and she didn't recognize him when she shot him helped support their motion.
What did you remember seeing, Heath?
Just gun flash in my face and went off 2 more times, but my hand was on the gun after the first shot and I twisted it from her.
Who was pointing that gun at you?
It was Carly.
Who pulled the trigger when you opened the door?
The first one I know was Carly. After that, my hand was on the gun too, and I know I had a scratch on my thumb and all. I very well could have hit it, I know, that third time.
How close, Heath, was that gun to your face when that went off?
Maybe a foot.
Did you ever get struck by a bullet?
Yes, one of them kind of grazed right through this muscle up here.
Can you tell, ladies and gentlemen, What did that feel like?
I know this sounds weird, but I honestly have never felt it to this day.
When the gun went off in your face, tell ladies and gentlemen, I mean, was your body in a state of shock?
Not at that moment. I was trying to figure out what was going on.
Did you see anybody inside your home other than Carly?
No.
Walk us through, you said that you were able to at some point get the gun from her. Tell us, what is it that you remember after that?
She was screaming out of her mind, scared. It was like she had seen a demon or something. She was terrified. And my first thought was there was an intruder somewhere, and she thought she was after somebody else.
After Heath was shot by his stepdaughter, body cam video captured the aftermath of the horrific shooting.
Sheriff's office! Sheriff's office! Hey, come outside for a minute. Hey, come here. Hey, where's your wife at, bud? Where's your wife at?
She's dead on the floor in that room.
She's where? Sheriff's office! Hello? I need medical here. Man, I need you to go. Hey, where's your son wearing? Hey, can you tell me what your son's wearing? Hey, I need you to talk to me. What is your son wearing?
He was in jeans and a grayish t-shirt. She's got short, brownish hair.
So, jeans, a gray t-shirt, short brown hair.
She ran into the backyard. I tried to follow her. She jumped the fence and ran. She shot me in the neck. It's okay.
Does she still have the gun?
It's on the kitchen counter. I think there's one light round left in it. I opened the cylinder. I went in the back door and she tried to shoot me.
Hey, I need some gloves. Hey, he's saying that she ran towards Magnolia Place.
Are you sure?
He's Gregg's, but he's 10-2. It went through his shirt.
You got me right there.
Magnolia Place, that gated subdivision.
She went over the side back towards my vehicle. She might have looked around this way.
Might look back, going back towards the pond right there. Hey, she does not have the firearm. The firearm is here at the house. Hey, he's been grazed, but he's 10-2. It really not got me. She's laying in the floor with a towel. Does she have any kind of, what's her name, bud?
Carly Gregg.
Carly Gregg? How old is she?
14. She'll be 15 next month.
Okay.
It doesn't work. She's got me going toward the door. Where's she at?
She jumped the fence, he said. She didn't go out the back door.
Is he the only one?
No, we got one. She's 7. She's 9.
Okay.
The back door is locked. She did not go out the back door. Therefore, that's what he's claiming. Gray shirt, blue jeans, short brown hair. Hey, y'all do be advised. There's several firearms in the house, but the one that he's saying was used is laying on the table, but that doesn't mean she's not armed.
We don't know if she's gone. We're going to...
All right, look at me. You going?
Yeah, I got it.
96 headed to you. There was a white male walking in whenever I was coming in. She's 14. Hey, buddy, listen to me, okay? I need to get some information from you. What is her name again?
Carly, C-A-R-L-Y.
C-A-R-L-Y?
Carly Madison Gregg, G-R-E-G-G.
G-R-E-G-G?
She's my stepdaughter.
All right.
Her dad lives in Starkville, and we're having all kind of problems with him. He's
Okay.
drugs and
All right. What is your name, sir?
Keith Smiley.
Keith Smiley?
ID.
Okay.
She's getting back for that.
All right.
Hey.
What's your wife's number? Name?
Ashley Smiley.
All right.
Have you called her? Have you called her? Call her. Your wife. I did call her number twice, and I ran in there looking for her, and then I went in the room.
Hey, how old is Ashley? How's your wife?
40.
40? Hey, I need you to find Ashley Smiley. Ashley Smiley, 40 years of age, white female. Also, I got a 27 for the other victim. It's 801-151-492.
'Cause
Yes. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Hey, so he's gonna, no, I mean, I'm getting information good. It's a thorough 30 to the shoulder. As of right now, this is him. She's what? She's Ashley Smiling. She's 40 years old. And then the one we're looking for is Carly Madison Gregg. She's 14. They've been having issues with her in the past. So this is a stepdaughter.
All in all, Carly Gregg's trial lasted about a week, and it would only take the jurors less than an hour to decide on Carly Gregg's ultimate fate.
The verdicts read as follows. As to count 1, we the jury sentence the defendant Carly Madison Gregg to life imprisonment. As to count 2, we the jury sentence the defendant Carly Madison Gregg to life imprisonment. Please be seated.
While Carly Gregg waits to hear how her appeal process plays out, she's currently being housed in the Youthful Offender Unit at the Central Mississippi Correctional Facility. According to reports, the prosecution says an appeal was expected. At this time, both sides now await the judge's decision on the appeal, and at this time, no hearing has been set. If it's denied, the defense could appeal to a higher court. Reporting for Law&Crime, I'm Elizabeth Millner.